Do you have absolute certainty on how you go from hello to yes on what you're looking for? I watch people get stuck and frozen, and that breaks my heart. I was once stuck and frozen too. Greatest superpower in the world that is attainable for you is the ability to influence people.
In the home, office, and in the body. And fun fact is, I'm a mom, and my kid loves peanut butter.
Peanut
Awesome.
butter and jelly, or just peanut butter?
Just peanut butter.
That is. I am a pure peanut butter fan myself. My fun fact for today will be, amongst others, perhaps, that I've never eaten jelly, just peanut butter.
What?
So, Kate, ENB, back to you.
Yeah, awesome. So glad that you're here, Kate. Okay.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Nick, I'm going to pick on you next.
Pick away.
So go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a fun fact.
Yeah. Yeah, my name is Nick Knutson. I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Let's see. So if you are going to take 150 pounds of Spartan strength and mental fortitude, toss in 9.5 years of sobriety, 10 ounces of an iron will heart, sprinkle in a little bit of vulnerability, courage, and fun, you come out with a maverick chef who tosses between being the persona of Wolverine and a shirtless chef, because I like to cook dangerously. But really what I like to do is to bring people truly closer together by bridging food and connection and conversation. So I'm so grateful to be here, TMB and Leba. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So glad you're here with your expertise. Yeah. Leba, do you want to?
We need a fun fact though, right, Tiff?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry,
Oh
Nick.
yeah, fun fact. Fun fact about me, like, it's funny, I'm a chef, and I was probably the most picky eater as a kid. I would have my mom actually cut the crust off my peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because I couldn't stand crust. So
Uncrustables were created just for you.
That is awesome.
I was too late.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Leba, tell us who you are and a fun fact.
Hi guys. Okay, real fun fact. So my name is Leba Cohen. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. Currently live in Vegas. Moved here during COVID. I'm an RN and I do a lot of sports. I've done Ironman. Sports are my life. Fun fact. New fun fact. Today I actually just finished. So 13 teams decided that they were going to raise money for an organization that helps people called Catapult with physical disabilities do sports. And so 13 teams, we just finished. Today was day 21. I just got back from my bike ride and we did the distance of Tour de France over 21 days. So my body is so burned out right now. I just finished the last day, and I'm also doing 75 hard. So today's day 55, which is amazing. And I love this. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah. Hey, Leva, you sound so centered, powerful, strong. Like, you sound amazing. So I'm so happy for you, and it's awesome what you're doing.
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate that.
Really.
Love it. Raina, do you feel confident to tell us who you are?
Yeah, I can do that.
Awesome.
My name's Raina LeDuc, and I live in St. George, Utah. It's about 45 minutes from Zion National Park and 2 hours north of Las Vegas. So that kind of tells you where we're at. It's a beautiful place to live. It gets hot in the summer, but it's beautiful most of the year. So what I do is I help businesses thrive by helping them save money with their vendors. We renegotiate and restructure their vendor contracts and their service agreements and their rates. So we save people 80% of the time, 27 to 28%. And it's really fun. I love it. The fun fact that I have is I have 13 children, 6 of my own, and my husband has 7. So we have 13 kids and 22 grandchildren.
goodness, Raina, that's like throwing it down. Holy cow. Well,
Wow. You can never tell. That's amazing. You look like young as day. And fun fact, I want to just let you guys know that I actually just I just met Raina actually in Zion, and I stopped her in a gift store because she was wearing OUR, Operation Underground Railroad t-shirt. And I got so excited to see that I had to stop her and start talking to her. So that's actually, I just met her this past weekend.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Well, Raina, and quick fun fact, thank you for that. I had the unique privilege in anticipation of Tony Robbins' birthday of having been asked to lead the charge in the Platinum Partnership Room for raising money for Operation Underground Railroad. And they'd hoped to raise $500,000. And in 26 minutes, that incredible group of people, which I was privileged to lead in the microphone, we raised $1.7 million, $1.7 million in 26 minutes.
Yay, thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. And I've had the privilege of being out in Utah at the headquarters for Operation Underground Railroad and meeting those incredible people. So that's awesomeness that you're sporting in your shirt and your life and what you're representing in the world. And thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thanks, Leba.
Love it. So glad that you joined us. Maury, tell us about yourself. I met Maury at Top Talent. We were in the same group, and he and I just started having conversations about how we can really help people during this stressful time and what tools do each of us have. And I'm so excited to have him be able to explain his incredible brainwave stuff.
Hi, everybody. My name is Maury Zelkovich, and I'm the world's first and only brainwave entrainment engineer. I can make that claim because I actually created the position. What I do is I create audio and visual stimulation patterns that change the behavior of your neurons. By changing the behavior of your brain cells, we change the actual broadcast frequency or the wavelengths. By getting into different wavelengths, we create different chemistry, and it's the chemistry that allows you to feel what you feel. So my time's almost up. So fun fact, that's my brain. There you go, 30 seconds.
Love it. And fun fact.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sean.
No, thank you, Tiffany, for your leadership. Go.
What's your fun fact?
I gave you my fun fact. That's my brain.
Oh, gotcha. I already thought that was just part of who you are. I apologize.
Well, that is part of who I am, but that's a fun fact. But that's actually my brain.
Hey,
That's
Maury,
awesome.
quick question. How did you step into the space of disrupting brainwaves and rewiring?
Well, not disrupting, actually. I actually bring them into a natural state. I don't disrupt them. Okay. Disruption sounds quite destructive, actually. Anyway, I was depressed for most of my life, 40 years. Multiple suicide attempts, hated life, hated people. Every morning, woke up, crossed fingers, looking out the window, hoping I would see mushroom clouds. Because if I saw a mushroom cloud, it meant I didn't have to live through another day.
Well, I'm sorry.
And don't be sorry. I am so grateful for all of it. Awesome. It created who I am today, and it creates who I am going to be tomorrow. I couldn't be happier.
Yes. And the way that we use disruption in Unblinded is any shift in a pattern. So,
oh, okay. For me, disruption has a negative connotation, so I apologize.
No, don't apologize. Please don't apologize at all. Because actually, we just experienced one of the most fundamental dynamics of Unblinded is that each and every one of us speak a different language. Every single human. That's the space I operate in. Is that our messages are deleted, diluted, and distorted as soon as we speak to anybody else. And so because each of us have a different meaning for disruption, for happiness, for sadness, for depression, for money, for time, for magic, for God, for life, for love, for marriage, for business. And so we speak and communicate at such, even the most masterful of communicators, our messaging is being received at so much of a lower level than we would otherwise expect, even with the greatest of listeners. And so that's what this is all about. And so thank you for that incredible illustration. And thank you for everything that we do. And if I could, 23 years ago, I realized that influence was in fact a superpower, which I'll come back to. But first, in a minute, Tiffany, who are you? Why are you doing this? And please share your amazingness.
Well, thanks, Sean. I appreciate it. We actually have Dr. Clint Rogers has joined us. He's hopped on, and I'm going to let Leba introduce him.
Amazing.
So I'm super excited. I actually just asked him if he could come on this like a couple hours ago. He's amazing. I met him a couple of weeks ago, and what he does is he has a PhD. He does research, but more recently in the past 10 years, and he could tell you a little bit more about that. But he worked with Dr. Naram, an Indian doctor, Eastern healer, to create magic and healing. And I don't know how to explain his magic, but I'll let him do it real quick. So just introduce yourself and then a fun fact about yourself.
So fun to be here. I was honored to be with you not that long ago, only a few weeks ago. And so much has happened since then, Sean, and this beautiful Unblinded community. And so when Leba invited me to come on again today, I was like, yeah, I love this. I love these people. I love what you're doing. And I love the feeling of being with you. Since I was there last time, so much cool stuff has happened. I call it contagious healing. It's like this in a world where people are afraid of being exposed to something they don't want. This is actually being exposed to something you do want. The book Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer was about a Western skeptic, which was me, an Eastern master, which is Dr. Naram, and life's greatest secrets. And people just from applying 3 of these ancient secrets are seeing so many miracles happen in their lives. And I met Leba actually at a first event since COVID where I spoke at live. And it was so fun to see just this contagious healing like take root and start in such a way that people are losing weight. Their cholesterol is 47% less, inflammation 75% less, pain in their back, their knees is going away. Yeah. People who have autistic children, seeing them come to their full brilliance. Even one of the women who had an autistic child, he just got his driver's license, totally functioning. So it's about changing people's perception about what's possible and doing it in such a way that it's contagious. You start to see the healing that you can have 50%. What if you had 50% more energy, or less pain? What would you do with your life? And so especially with ourselves and with those we love, to know that these ancient secrets are just real and applicable and powerful and simple and work fairly easily. It's really fun to see it happen. So I was just honored that Leba invited me on this call again. She said she wanted to use this time to share this message, and I want to support anyone who has that inclination.
Thank you. That's very powerful and awesome. And how about a fun fact? As if that's not fun enough.
Well, I'm one of 8 kids, and my brother that Gerald, just got married to Allison on the beach of Dominican Republic a couple of days ago. And the fun fact is that we're supposed to wear all white, but for some reason he didn't have white pants. So I gave him mine, and then I just wore a blue sarong.
That is outstanding. Outstanding. So yes, I am present to that dynamic in reality, and I'm so happy for them. They're such beautiful people.
I did not know that you were in that family. So that just gave me a new visual as well with this. This is awesome. I'm Dr. Tiffany Noelle Brown. I have my PhD in medical sociology, but I really want to take that scientific knowledge, mix it with having been a foster parent, dealing in the trauma world, and also dealing with being a holistic practitioner, and kind of blend them all together. And that's why my absolute favorite word is Ohana. And if you remember Lilo and Stitch, Ohana means family, and family means no one gets left behind or forgotten. And for me, that means you're including people from whatever background they come from, whatever perspective they come from, whatever sociodemographics. It's beyond that even. It's really bringing someone in as part of you and supporting that with self-care, as sometimes we need that self-care process to help us get there. And I don't know if I can top my other fun fact, Sean, but I guess the only other thing that I could think of was that I was an extra in the movie The Replacements.
Wow, I did not know this. And what were you, like, what part of the movie?
I was in the stands during the game, the like football game scene. Yeah. And yeah,
that's
it
awesome.
was actually kind of boring.
And Tiffany, your sharing of your heart and who you are and what you're up to, that was deeply resonated and was very, very powerful. And I am not confused. And you're such a beautiful soul. And thank you for being you in this world.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So Sean and Leba, help me out here. Sean is the person who is helping me kind of use that disrupt term in a positive way, because I had the exact same reaction when he said it for the first time. And now I see it as a power word of, okay, we're going to what I call my aha moments. And so I love that connection. And Sean has an incredible background in influence in multiple ways, but I'm just excited that he is giving his time to share his genius with us. Leba, you want to add anything on?
Sean is just an incredible person and something really powerful. I was actually, he is humble. He does not talk about himself enough. And he created this formula, and this Real Raw actually was born with him and other people during COVID. One of the blessings of COVID brought about a lot of blessings. And Sean helps people see the things that they can't see, the whole thing with Unblinded. And I find it kind of ironic that it was born in the year 2020, where 2020 is vision, where people can't really see. And it's helping people see distinctions in their life and clarity for things. Whether you're in sales, whether you have a profession, you have a business, it's about relationships and connections. And through Sean and Unblinded and through everything that this is, and it's so much bigger than I can even really fully comprehend. And it's just growing exponentially, showing people just ways of listening better, hearing things better, how to connect to people better, how to see distinctions. And you know, Sean is constantly saying, I'm not confused. Like, I'm not confused. There's so much clarity in everything that goes on. So I am super grateful for you, Sean. Thank you so much. And Unblinded will forever be the first ever personal development, any seminar, anything that I've ever been to. So I'll always have that.
Well, thank you. And your strength, your presence, and what you're up to, Leba, like, I am inspired and moved. You sound amazing. You're resonating amazingly. And I am so happy to hear you, see you, the 75 hard, the Tour de France biking thing that you're up to. It's incredible. So thank you. And my fun fact is that I'm a blind man who taught a blind man to surf in the last 5 weeks. And I also taught the same blind man to win at carnival games when all the sighted people were bouncing balls all over the place and could not stick them in the bucket. And that was a very fun fact. Additionally, just about me, my side hustle is I own a 125-person law firm with offices in 5 states, because my thing I'm most proud of in the world is that my kids played 1,000 games in their childhood. I only missed 9. And what we're now doing is supporting people and seeing what they don't see about the fun, the magic of growth, right? In their time, their money, their business, their impact. And that's what this is all about. And there's very unique distinctions about top national jury verdicts and building the law firm for my credit card and speaking on Tony Robbins stages and those sorts of things that just for credibility's sake, I stand for and share. So the credibility is there, right? And I have long stories about it, but it's not about me. I assure you that we're unpacking, though, truly power of influence, right? It's mindset, influence, and what you do with it that makes everything happen. So Tiffany, Leba, again, thank you so much. And let's drop in with these incredible, fine folks.
I love it. So Maury, would you be comfortable going first? I'm kind of explain what this is. Kate's going to be your role player. So you tell Kate what character it is you want her to be in the role play. And then you have 3 minutes to get her to say yes to something that's going to benefit you in your business that you want to practice in this fun environment. And we'll try to help with some micro distinctions that might be able to make that message even stronger.
Yep. And if I could share this morning, and it's right. And of course, Tiffany's sharing it's integrously. So the yes that you're seeking and what integrity-based human influence and authenticity and heart-centered connection that we're working the space of is something that would actually be equally valuable or more from whatever it is that you're asking Kate to explore with her money, time, and energy. And so it doesn't have to be a sale. It could be just a longer meeting conversation, but something like conclusively from your work, I'm sure you know this, would be immensely beneficial. So Kate could be an ideal client. It could be a potential speaking platform, or anybody else in the world that you'd like to talk to about this, or whatever your messaging would be. Does that make sense, sir?
Sure. I'm walking into this having no clue what to do, but I'll just go by the seat of my pants, which is what I generally do anyway. So, Kate, I want you to be you're basically an administrator of a very large organization that is directly involved in cognition. So cognitive decline, elderly, people who have brain injury, stroke, that kind of thing. Okay, so you've got a lot of control, a lot of contacts.
All right.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, I guess I'm ready too. I'm just going to set a timer here so I don't lose track of what's going on. You said 3 minutes, right?
I'll do the timer.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to do it also just so I can keep track, so it doesn't surprise me when you interrupt me at the end. Okay, so hi, Kate. How are you today?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing just terrific. Thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for your time in making all this 3 minutes. I know how busy your life is and how much in demand you are. I just wanted to introduce you to the fact that I actually do something called brainwave entrainment. And there's research out there, even though what I do is cutting edge and there's not a lot of research to do with what I do specifically. But what I do has been proven to aid in cognition. It helps to break down something called the amyloid protein, which I'm sure you're well aware of as an Alzheimer's specialist and in that field, that stops the neurons from communicating with each other. And that's part of the reason why people have an issue with memory, with cognition, with being able to think. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to see what I would need from you in order to set up some kind of a mini study, because I don't expect you to believe me that my products do what I say they do. But at the same time, I'm so cutting edge that there is no legitimate research backing up what I know my technology can do. So I'm wondering if I could convince you somehow to make arrangements for, say, a group of 10 and let me prove myself to you and let me prove my technology to you. In this day and age with stress and anxiety, on top of cognitive decline, on top of all the other things, poor sleeping habits, this technology can help in every single one of those ways, because what it does is it helps the user to help themselves. And I firmly believe that you can only be an expert in yourself. You can't be an expert in somebody else. No matter who you are, you can't. So
can you, I'm sorry, can you send me any kind of documentation or a study, or at least your own studies on it? Any results? Okay. Can I see some results?
I can send you testimonials, and I can send you unrelated studies. There's 3 studies currently going on in a hospital, actually in 2 hospitals in India. There's a completed study from a university in Jamaica about pre and post math exam anxiety. And then there was a study done by the Brazilian military who now use my recordings to train their military police.
So I'm not exactly clear on what this is. This is so this is hooking up brainwaves. Is this sound therapy? Is it related to binaural beats?
No, binaural beats aren't actually very functionally accurate, and they don't really do much. I have a more advanced methodology. It does involve sound. It does involve visual stimulation. So, Tiffany, just so you know, I can't see that because you're holding it over your name. Thank you. So basically what it does is it involves the user either watching or listening for 20-minute segments or 25-minute segments, and it subtly alters their brainwave activity, which alters their chemistry, which then alters their ability to perceive the world around them.
And what are some benefits that come out of this? Give me somebody that was suffering from, let's say, the Alzheimer's. How's it improved?
I'm out of time. Sorry.
Good. You have to go take 15 more seconds.
Okay. So what it does is it improves cognition because it helps to break down something called the amyloid protein in the brain, which actually provides the block of the neuronal activity, the electric pulses between. So
send me some testimonials and I can review them, and we can set up a time to talk again and figure out what's best for next step.
I appreciate that. Too bad you weren't real. this was easy.
So one of the things that I absolutely love, and I'm going to have Sean drop in here, is that Sean's going to give some micro distinctions of ways that, as we're learning in the unblinded world, that can make things go a little easier.
Yeah. So thanks, Tiffany. So I'll just drop in and do a quick role play. First of all, Maury, that was outstanding. Your sense of certainty and what we would call Zeus energy, which is decisive, certain, is extraordinary. You're like a 9.999 in terms of your sense of absolute certainty. So I'm going to play with a couple things, and I literally have virtually no idea what you're talking about, but I'm going to be you for a second.
Fair enough.
And let's see how close we get. I'm going to play it with Kate for a sec, right? So, Kate, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time for taking this call. I know there's a lot of things going on, and people make all sorts of really intense claims. And I really appreciated watching you present at that last functional medicine dynamic with all the elder care patients, and I appreciated you. So thank you for what you're up to in the world.
Thank you, Sean.
Yeah.
What can I help you with today?
Yeah. So Kate, if I can say this, what prompted you, or what keeps you going in this space? Like, what are you looking to create? I know you only have 3 minutes. I'm asking a question, but I will be done in 3 minutes. I assure you. What is it though that keeps you driving forward in this space to work with older patients?
To work with older patients, so to see them not decline and improve with love, care, and medical intervention.
Wow. I would acknowledge this because I've asked that question to more than 20 people, and you're the first person that used the word love in the dynamic. So if I get just one more question, how did that come to be? Like, how did love come to be a part of this conversation for you, Kate?
Because love heals. And anytime there are medical situations going on or emotional situation, whatever it is, love heals. Love has to be a part of the equation.
Oh. Well, thank you for that. And I'm sure you're carrying that message into the world. And if everybody in the space of healthcare felt that way, imagine what our world would look like.
Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, thank you. So my final minute here. So what I do will sound crazy. I've suffered from depression for an extraordinary period of time, even contemplated suicide on multiple occasions. And I discovered something that is utterly remarkable. And as many of us know, our neurons do not effectively communicate with one another. And what that does is it not only disrupts cognition, but it disturbs how we feel, how we perceive everything around us, how we filter, as you know, our visual, auditory, and kinesthetic stimuli in every way filters through these neural connections. Obviously, do we agree on that, Kate?
Yes.
Okay. So the work that I'm standing for in the world is work that's centered around how we create a shift in this communication. And I don't want to say a rewiring, but a realignment of these connections through a variety of modalities. And I know you're ingeniously adept at this, and I'm 10 seconds left. What I would ask for is a 15-minute phone call. And if in that 15 minutes, I don't blow your mind, then I would assure you, or I would request that you tell everybody to say I'm nuts and not talk to me. But in these 15 minutes, I'm very confident that I would blow your mind humbly. And then I'd love to have a longer conversation after that about what we may be able to co-create next. But this is standing in the space of shifting how patients that are really suffering from how they're feeling mentally, physically, how their cognition is functioning. That's what this is about. I know I'm out of time. So have I shared enough that 15 minutes of your time would be well invested?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Pause. Kate, how did that feel for you?
It felt really good. You validated who I am and why I am doing what I'm doing. felt great. It felt more than just sales.
Yeah. And in Robert Cialdini's work, Influence, there's 6 principles that operate in influence. When influence can be used for the negative or the positive, it just is influence, right? It's a mechanism of us sharing our information, having it received and acted upon by other human beings. That's all that influence is. Has nothing to do with us, has everything to do with the other person and how it goes from us to them and is accepted and acted upon. And that's what we're unpacking here. And when people like one another authentically, now people don't like us when we inauthentically make comments to people, like rapport and trust break. But one of the concepts is not just saying nice things to people, but trying to get to the core of what Oprah Winfrey said is the reason she held the microphone for 30,000 people, because she said, I see you, I hear you, and what you say matters to me. That's why she said that she held the microphone for 30,000. So there's so much more to unpack, but that's the beginning of it. And I guess I'd ask Maury this, is that relatively, and forgive my my ignorance in the science, but is that relatively close to what it is that you do?
What you said, kind of, not, I mean, well enough for the purposes of what I think you were trying to get across. Unfortunately, the methodology, like if I actually tried to talk that way to anybody, they'd hang up on me in 10 seconds. I wouldn't get 3 minutes, never mind 10 minutes or 15 minutes. These people don't have time for the softy, wafty stuff. They want to hear, like, as a matter of fact, interestingly enough, not half an hour before this call, I had a call with someone who was very interested in my work, who is very highly connected in seniors groups all throughout the United States, and basically said, can't use you. I'm happy to try your stuff and give you feedback, but I can't use you because you don't have studies, you don't have research backing up what you've done, because I don't have money. What I'm doing is so cutting edge. It hasn't gotten to that stage yet. Sure. I have to first find the people. So one of the things he said is, look, I don't want to hear any woo-woo stuff. I don't want to hear any lovey-dovey stuff. This is strictly a matter of how can we help people? Can we help people? And he was clear. He said, look, with these kinds of organizations, you need to have research. You need to have peer-reviewed research. And if you don't have that, there's no point in talking further.
Maury, understood. So thank you for your directness. And you're wrong.
Well,
and you're wrong.
That's what I get told by the people who are in the control.
No, you're wrong about what
so.
you said to me, because it's different from what you then tried to validate with your point. My point is that nobody's hung up on me in 25 years, 23.
What are you selling, if you don't mind me asking, or offering?
Every single thing I offer. One is raising money for charity.
Okay.
Two is convincing juries of things, including having a judge.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
I'm one of only 2 attorneys in America that have 2 top 100 national jury verdicts between 2014 and 16.
Okay.
The only one that was blind. And the judge had court rules that said there's no emotion in my courtroom. And I evoked extraordinary emotion, because every single decision, every single human being makes, and you can tattoo this to your chest, every single decision is made emotionally.
Oh, please understand. I got valuable stuff from what you said.
No. I appreciate it. I like you a lot.
No, you don't need to. I mean, it's not necessary.
I don't need to. Well, actually, it is necessary for people who want to help people. I want to support what you're doing, so I'm curious. And so, people liking you is it's not of extraordinary importance for your self-worth. That I agree with, right? And for mental health and emotional health. But what is critical is that people are going to help you. There's an amazing differential when they like you. And I can unpack that for hours. I would love to, Tiffany could tell you how.
No, you're right. You're right. I understand what you're saying. I guess I'm being more analytical specifically to a specific case as opposed to in general.
Absolutely. But listen, so when you're going to get those case studies, that's where the people who can say yes or no to you, right? I was literally thinking, because I appreciated your presentation so much, I'm like, wow, how can I help get a case study for this? Honest to God. That's what I was thinking. So you are powerful, you are likable in many ways, but my heart to yours, giving directness of feedback, I'd be very cautious of coming up with as absolute conclusions as you do, because that could break rapport. right? And with the people you're dealing with, you don't want to break rapport.
But don't you want to like kind of feed off of whatever they're giving you as opposed to just picking away and doing it? Because I actually care about working with people I like more than I care about money, a lot more actually. But I find that you want to talk to your audience. You don't want to impose on your audience. And it kind of sounds to me like you're imposing on the audience a way of being because you have a philosophy that works and it works for you. And I think that's great. But in my experience, if I don't listen to what they want first and I don't gear the way I speak to what they want, then they don't listen at all. And yet, so some people I'm very soft and fluffy with, and other people I'm just, black and white because that's what they want.
So what, and this is me coaching you up.
Yeah.
All right. What would give you the presupposition that I don't listen to people?
I didn't say that. I said, well, because you told me that I'm wrong and you got to be this way. And I'm saying, I agree with you that you have to be that way when the audience is that way. But if the audience isn't that way, if the audience isn't going to be open to that, in other words, if someone asks me to do a presentation and I start doing something and I can see that they're not really interested in how I'm doing it, I adjust to what they're looking for. I could be wrong in doing that. Maybe I am wrong in doing that, but that's my experience. I get much better results that way.
Yes. And I have about 40 things to say. Of course. Right. And that's why people at the highest sales training processes, litigation processes want to put me running them because I have the ability to do that and go from hello to yes with everybody because I have a formula.
Right.
Formula includes 4 steps, 10 indispensable elements, 4 energies. It includes integrity, scarcity, matching and mirroring, acknowledgement, level 5 transformational listening, loving people and conditioning boundaries, emotional energetic transference, reciprocity, question mastery, validation, congruence, all in 4 steps, emotional rapport building, putting something at stake, the conveyance of a hurry, unique identity, and satisfying what we put at stake. 4th is agreement formation with all the dynamics of asking questions, like to have objections collapse upon themselves. And 4 indispensable elements: fun, aspirational, God is Zeus. Fun energy opens people's listening. Aspirational energy puts something towards a vision to the future. The goddess energy is something that has people liking us, loving us, and caring about us. And Zeus energy is what causes things to drive forward. So the answer is absolutely. We're assimilating to every situation that we're in.
I appreciate that. And I am getting things. I'm not trying to be argumentative either.
I'm not either.
But I've only been like 2 months out in the world. I've been in my lab my whole life doing work. So I'm only 2 months out into the wild. But I feel guilty that I'm eating up so much time for everybody.
You're not. What you're doing is this is a training for everybody in how to have healthy communication where there seems like there might be something that people are disagreeing about, or actually not disagreeing. And the only thing I responded to is you said, well, that wouldn't work. They would hang up on you. And I promise you, nobody hangs up on me. And I'm stepping in.
That's correct. No one hangs up on you. I have been hung up on.
No. I can teach you how not to get hung up on. And my partner, Adam Gugino, who's managed between 50 million and 100 million phone calls and took a company from $3 million to $750 million. It's the same dynamic. There's a science, just like there's a science to connecting.
That makes sense.
There's a science to it. And you're amazing. I love your candor. I love your openness and your strength and power. Like, you're a very, very uniquely congruent person. So I am unoffendable.
Okay, but please understand, even though I'm talking straightly, I am open and I am listening.
And that's why
sometimes people don't think I'm open or listening, but I actually am. So thank you.
That's why I'm communicating with you, and I appreciate it. And I love it. Thank you. This is what I do. Tiffany, this is amazing. I'm gonna pause here because I actually have to get some of my own healthcare taken care of this evening, because I had my first back injury ever, which is for a different day. But Tiffany, so we're good. What's present for you, Tiffany?
What's present for me is I'm very much that science person coming from the med school research background. And Maury, when you and I were talking for the first time, it was longer than 3 minutes. So that took some of the guardrails, probably that pressure off. But you talk to me based on my heart. And when you started saying things like, I want to work with people that I like, that mattered to me. That perked up my ears, because there's a ton of people doing research around brain stuff. And I don't want to trust my brain and my brain injury to just anybody. So that part that you brought for me, what I'm hearing Sean saying, and Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm hearing Sean saying is that part of the conversation gives you entree into having the science discussion with folks, because then you're not just another person calling them. Like with Kate, she was, when she was role playing with Sean, her body language was different. And even your body language was different. Your body language changed as that conversation went on. So that's what's present for me just in this dynamic. And I love that you're so open to learning and feeling so stressed that what you have been doing isn't always working. So how can we get that nugget? So at the beginning of every conversation that you have, you see what they're interested in and relate it back to them. And then you can have the science discussion.
And a final.
That's fair.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Final. Federal judge. We have the largest jury verdict in the last decade in the state of Arizona. The trial went on for a month. I just happen to disagree with him that there's no emotion in his courtroom, because there's emotion everywhere. So we go through this entire month-long trial. And when the jury verdict comes out, he pulls out the jury verdict, which is supposed to be read by the foreperson. And he says, he looks at it, he looks up at me, looks at you know what? I think I'm going to read this one. And as he read it,
Hey, Sean, you're breaking up. We're having a hard time hearing you.
To us. Okay. Can you hear me now,
Sean.
Tiffany, or no?
Yeah.
That's better.
Yeah, I'm going to go off.
Yeah. Take it off Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
Tiffany, is that better?
Yep, that's better. Thanks.
Can you hear me? Okay, just really quickly. So he kept looking back and forth. And as he was saying, and the jury found that the defendant acted with an evil mind. His emphasis, his looking back and forth, told everybody in the courtroom, well, who was paying attention, and certainly told me, that he wasn't biased, because he's an amazing man of integrity, but he was very, very pleased and happy with the outcome. And so the very judge that would say no emotion in my courtroom, the most logical person who didn't smile for a month, read it for that reason. So that's all. So everybody is moved emotionally. That's all. And so Tiffany, great. Yes, and you encapsulated it perfectly, Tiffany.
Thank you for calling out.
Maury, everybody, I'm going to just share this simply. I don't know what is happening. So yes, thank you. So I am super grateful. Tiffany, I'm going to leave this in your super capable hands along with Leba. And everybody, this has been an example of the formula on display. And every night, Monday night at 7 p.m., we go through what is unblinded and why the real raw. And so Tiffany, thank you, and take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean. Feel better.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Pleasure.
Sean.
Thank you, Leba.
Okay.
So I think a great way for us to kind of go forward, depending on how much time we have left, is I'm going to have Leba work with introducing Raina again. And Raina, you can try it out too. And do the same thing where Kate will be the role player again. So just let her know what character you want her to be and what yes you're trying to get to. And again, I will time and I'll try to put it in a place that you all can see it better. Sorry, Maury, for that. And then if there's time, we'll go back and Maury, why don't we try it again and see how it goes with some of the stuff that you learned and practice it if you're open to that. All right, Leba, take it away.
All right, so Raina, you ready? You got 3 minutes. 3 minutes to make your avatar, your person that you want to sell to and do business to, and try to explain to her either to get another conversation going or an appointment. And the whole point of this is to see how quickly you could get through to her and explaining what you do to move forward and do more business.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. Yeah, so Kate, if you could be probably the CEO of a like e-commerce business.
Okay.
E-commerce and manufacturing business would be great. And yeah, and I guess maybe we met at a networking event or something, and I'm trying to get an appointment with you or something. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay. Hi, Kate. This is Raina Leduc. I met you at the Allies event the other day. How are you today?
Yes, Raina. Great. How are you?
I'm doing so well. How are you? How's your business going?
It's going really well, actually. E-commerce is up in this pandemic time. Everybody's doing online shopping.
Yeah, I know. I've noticed that too myself. I've always been a hands-on shopper, but yeah, the pandemic's kind of, I don't know, it's been kind of nice to sit from my computer and order stuff. So that's exciting. So are sales up a lot right now?
Yeah, we're looking at fourth quarter surpassing last year for the year.
Wow, that's fantastic. Mm-hmm. Congratulations.
Tell me what it is. What do you do again, Raina?
Well, my husband and I, we own a business that's called Schoolie Mitchell, and it's actually a franchise. And we help businesses save money on their expenses. So your fees for your merchant service providers. We're not a provider, but we have access to all 2,000 plus providers and set you up with the best gateway, that get the best rated and best for your industry processor. And we do an analysis up front. This is what I really love about Schoolie Mitchell, is that we do a 4 to 6 week analysis of all your vendors if you want us to. We can do that for your waste. That would probably help with your manufacturing part, your shipping costs, your merchant service fees and those costs, and then also your telecom. So anything to do with any communication. And then what we do is we send that to our analysts. We have about 100 analysts in our head office, and we have a huge database that's over 35 years old and has, several thousand, I would say in the 30,000 range clients. So we can compare what you're paying and in your industry and your volume that you're using, and then get you the best rates and restructure that for you. And
so I have a controller, and I have a buyer that works for me. So how would this differ?
Well, the difference is that we're a third party, and we don't make money off of what you're being charged. The way we make money is that we split the savings that you're saving. So it's all out of pocket. Usually buyers will find you different, different providers or whatnot, and then they make a percentage off what the provider's charging you. But we're a third party. We don't care who you use, and we're not making money and making deals with the provider, but we're actually making money by saving you money. And that's the only way we make money. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I'm not sure if I'm understanding how my personnel in office doesn't already do what you're doing.
Yeah, that's a really good question. What I'd like to do is just meet with you perhaps over lunch. I'd like to take you to lunch and then kind of show you how that works. It's kind of short. I guess I could just tell you right now if I have 10 more seconds. That's up to you.
Yeah, I'm a person with data and numbers. If you can show me data of results of what you've done, companies that are equal to my size, our volume. If you can show me what you've done for them, I will assess it and get back to you.
I would love to do that. I will send that to your email, and that will be redacted so you can't see the client's name, but I'll show you all the data.
Great.
All right. Thank you, Kate. It's good to talk with you.
Thank you, Raina. I'll look out for your email.
Okay, thank you.
That was amazing. Nick, do you want to let her know? How'd that feel for you right now?
It felt good. I love saving people money, so I'm like, let me help you. It's really fun. And really for me, the fun part is seeing what they do with the money they save. You know, they get to, we have one client, they save $37,000 a month on their merchant service fees, and they've implemented, you know, training for their employees and, you know, health benefits. So that's what really excites me is seeing what they can do with the money afterwards. Or it's just a business that's struggling, like our restaurant clients, and, you know, an extra $500 in their bank helped them stay alive this last 9 months or whatever it's been. So, so that's what I love.
That's amazing. So what we're going to do is Sean is not here. I'm actually so grateful that he stayed on as long as he did, because usually he hops on for a little bit and then because there's so much going on in his life right now. So Nick is going to help give you some feedback on how you did right now. Okay,
thanks. Thank you.
Hi, Raina. First and foremost, I definitely can hear like how passionate you are about helping people save money. That is a wonderful, wonderful thing to be going into this call with. What I would really like for you to maybe just consider in another conversation with someone who would fit Kate's avatar is I think you could turn around and acknowledge like that how successful they are being in the time of COVID.
Yeah.
Right. So acknowledge like something that they're doing really well. And try to keep things open-ended rather than say, are you growing right now? Like, what are challenges, or what is really behind you being successful right now?
That's good. Thank you.
And I think the other thing you really need to, you know, yes, like I know how passionate you are about helping people save money. I think you need to lead your avatar to that, right? Rather than assume that she wants to save money, right? You kind of confused her with, well, I don't know how this really fits in with, you know, what are you doing? And I've already got somebody like that. So continue to ask questions, continue to open up their listening. And then just like with like 45 seconds left of that 3 minutes, just drop in like, hey, like, you know what I love to do? I love to help people save money. And here's how I can do it. I've got a few things I can share with you. Maybe just share a couple client testimonials right then and there on the spot. And I think all in all, I give you a 7.5.
Hey, thank you.
Hey, do you want to try to explain how you felt in that and anything that stands out for you that might help?
Yeah, I know, honestly, if I owned an e-commerce business, I wasn't exactly clear on if I have, you know, a controller, an accounting department, a buyer, everything going on in-house. I wasn't exactly clear on how a third party would actually be saving me money, and that I'm not already implementing, right? Like exactly, that I haven't already established and been working on. So I didn't see the benefits or the value fully.
So explain like our process more, or why it actually, what we do is so beneficial and how we do it. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like if I had a longer conversation, I would, the database that we have, nobody has the database that shows what your, you know, an e-commerce business is spending, you know, in their industry. Like I'll give you an example. We had a client that was shipping car parts. They do like old cars. They retrofit car parts for like old Chevys in the 60s, basically. And we compared their prices to their current shipper. They wanted to stay with their current shipper, but the shipper wouldn't even talk to us. So we went to a meeting with them and we said, well, okay, we know you're giving them a great deal here, but our client in Ohio in the same industry has, you know, 15-point discount larger than what our client here has. Why is that? So we had the shipper actually, you know, competing against themselves because we had the database that showed us what they had been paying. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. I think also to speak what Nick was talking about, you know, we have some terminology that that we've learned here, you know, lean in a little bit more, right? There were definitely some open questions there that you could have built more emotional rapport, asking about how is the business growing? What exactly am I doing? And more like the open-ended and inquisitive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could have built more of I think, an emotional rapport between us in the get-go.
Okay.
And then lean in with the data and the stats and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
I love that. Thanks, Kate. And
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll just add on a little bit as well. As far as we have a little bit of flexibility, since there's two of you, that gives us a little more time to really kind of delve into some of these issues. I love that your first question was, how are things going during COVID? You didn't say it exactly like that, but basically, you said, how are things going? And that's a great way to, I think, to start out some of these calls with folks that you don't know, but also showing right off the bat that you care about them in an open-ended way, I think is really great. I heard the same thing that Nick heard. The very next question was a yes/no question. And one way to keep trying to have the listening open up for the other person to receive you better is to ask them more open-ended questions. You got some examples of that from Kate and Nick. And some of that can be, oh, how are you doing that now? Well, that's awesome. And then kind of shift it into, okay, so you've validated them at that point already. And then trying to figure out, okay, well, where are the pain points? That's jargon that you'll hear us talk about, but where are the pain points for you personally, like for that potential customer, client, partner, whatever, personally? And a lot of that may then be, I'm trying to think, Kate, with your responses of how that might be pulled out better of, so these are the things that are working great. What are the things that are stressing you out? And then once you're hearing that story, you can match what your expertise is as a solution to that. And one thing that I'm really learning is to ask for permission to talk about yourself. And that's a really hard, that's hard because we want to show ourselves as the expert, but letting them figure out that they actually need someone like you. And before you tell them that they need you, if that makes sense. And that also makes it really, you are trying to solve their problem. And what I noticed actually was you lit up afterwards. You laughed in reaction to Leba, and you laughed and you talked about how much you love seeing how people save that money. I would include that as part of this idea of testimonial, right? You completely lit up, like your whole body and energy shifted, and that wasn't even during the call. So how do we bring in that in so that can be felt during that? But I know it's hard when you have 3 minutes. Oh my gosh, that time thing just stresses me out. I'm still stressing out about that. But I don't know if any of those comments that I just provided help in moving you forward. And Maury, maybe some of those comments also help in building a framework for moving yours forward as well.
It was very helpful.
Yeah, any other thoughts here?
I love what Nick and Tiffany, the feedback that they gave you, as well as Kate. And the one thing that I wanted to bring up, which Tiffany brought up, and I'm so happy, is that, yeah, your energy completely shifted afterwards. You were like almost in a zone during the 3 minutes. And then afterwards, you just like became yourself again. And you just got really like, you got more heart-centered, as Sean would say, and just really like lit up. And you could see that that's why you're passionate about it. And that's the real reason. And when you bring that to the clients or potential clients that you're looking to work with, they're going to connect to that, and they're going to connect to successes that you've had really quickly. Because when it's, you know, I was just part of the formula, and I was just re-listening to this again because I myself need to learn it more. He talks about there's the 4 steps, right? And it's building the emotional rapport, getting someone from getting to their pain point, and then building your own unique identity, heroic unique identity, and then the agreement formation. And in the heroic unique identity, he talks a lot about how you want to show people either it's like stories or stuff that you've done that gives you character from that, right? And I think that came out a lot. Like an example he gives, which pertains to me as well. He talks about Siri Lindley, that she does Ironman, and I never thought of it like that. And I've done Ironman myself, that when you tell someone I did Ironman, that automatically gives all these characteristics about you, because you can't just wake up, roll out of bed, not be active and be like, let me go do that, right? So any accomplishment that you have, the fact, how many kids did you say you have? Like, that's a lot of it. 13?
Yeah, it was 13.
13. That's amazing. Like that in itself is just shows so much of your character, who you are, what you do. And you can bring that to clients, potential people you meet as well. You know, let them know I'm a mom of 13, and that speaks volumes in itself. Like that's a class, that's a lot. So just bring in small accomplishments that you've done along the way as well. And this, like the more I'm learning about this and the more I introduced it, like I can't even say the word, integrate this into my speaking and into my life, it's really making a difference in the people that I meet and the way people view me and the way I view myself as well. So that's what I like to add.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
loving this. You know, this is really, I can see all over the place on this call, all these aha moments. It's just awesome. And when Leba's talking about the heroic unique identity, Nick and I really have been practicing this. So if you go back and watch this, then how we introduced ourselves at the beginning gave you a picture of who we are without a resume, in a more human way. Like when I say Ohana, that truly is who I am. And I absolutely love it. And I've had to learn to own it as part of who I am. So those might be some examples to help you as well. I love this. This is awesome. Nick and Kate, do you have a few more minutes for us to do another round with Maury now that he has a better sense? It's always hard when you're the first one to go and you have no idea what this is about.
Yeah, I'm here. I have a few more minutes, sure.
Awesome. Maury, you up for it?
You're muted, Maury.
Muted.
Fun fact, I was muted.
I love that. Yeah, so hopefully some of the stuff that's going on in here might help in trying to limit the amount of time, which I'm still working on, when you first interact with folks. Do you want to have the same person that you're trying to speak to, or do you want to try doing it with a different
Challenge
person?
me, I don't care. Challenge me. I don't like easy. Easy is too easy. Who wants to challenge me? Who wants to really give me a hard time? That's what I want.
Well, Kate will still be the role player.
I have a great avatar for you. I don't know if this fits, but someone that suffers with like eating disorders and yeah, I have friends and then I know a bunch of other people that they've been through a lot. And I know a lot of it has to do with the way the brain works and mechanisms of the brain. So maybe is that like a good avatar for you?
Again, challenge me. I'm fine. Let's do Leba, and I'm going after people with weight problems and eating disorders.
Can I just make a one distinction? What if you? Okay, that was a great. I don't think you're. What if it was like the someone that worked for the Emily program?
I don't know Emily program. Sorry.
It's a eating disorder institute based in Minneapolis. It's nationwide. Maybe there's someone there that you would want to connect with.
Oh, someone that works at a treatment facility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually probably a better avatar. Okay, I like Nick's idea. Group effort.
That makes sense to you, Maury?
I mean, to me, it's the same thing.
Okay.
So there's no difference there.
I'm probably going to play the same role because I don't know the science behind all of that. So I'm just going to play the same kind of administrator role. But yeah, let's go for it.
All right. Good.